A very good morning, dear students. So, we were in the previous class, we were just refreshing the various important terminologies that we have discussed so far in the first unit with respect to the cordless telephone, the telecommunications, and your standard telephone and local loop, and the electronic telephone. Okay, so in today's class, we'll get started with the telephone exchange and how the telephone hierarchy is working on with respect to the central office. So far, we were learning about the details of the telephone instrument connection at our home. So now we will learn in detail how it is functioning. That is the telephone exchange or the central office is functioning whenever a call is being initiated. Okay, so this is about the telephone hierarchy. So this is the pictorial representation of what is that photo of the telephone exchange at the central office where all the telephone lines are getting terminated by means of this twisted pair of cable or the coaxial cable. In term, technically it is called as the local loop. Okay. So let us introduce the terminology, the public switch telephone network, that is the PSTN line. So the photos which are at the top rows are the olden days. During the olden days, the manually people used to connect the telephone numbers. That is, whenever we make calls, we have to, the call will be transferred to the central office or the local exchange. Then from there, there will be a person, telephone operator, who will be physically connecting to the telephone number to whom we have to make a call. Okay, so that is how it has been done in olden days. That is in case of 1950s and late 60s, 1960s. So normally we call that as trunk calls. Okay, so this is how the operators used to function. So with the evolution of all your electronics and what is that switching networks and the networking terminal technology, we have made everything automized. That is, there will be a dedicated line from one user to the other user, whoever is getting connected to the telephone exchange or the central office. There will be dedicated lines running here. So whenever we wanted to make a call directly, the line will be open, kept open, and there will be a lot of switches which will be directing the calls. So it is all replaced by the electronic switches. Automatically that will be switching between the different telephone lines that is being made. So this is about the public switch telephone network or the PSTN lines. So that we could see here in this, what is that, bottom two photos. Okay, so this is called the automatic switching lines where the dedicated lines are getting connected and terminated at the central office. Okay. Now, so this is one such detailed picture of how the wires are getting connected from one terminal to other terminal. So all the users will be terminated at this point. At this point means the central office to which we are getting connected or subscribed. Okay. So that is which means that we get registered to that particular office, the central office. Okay. So the telephone hierarchy is the central office or the local exchange, first one. So this, we all know that the central office or the local exchange is the facility to which the telephone directly gets connected via the twisted pair of cable. So also this is also known as the end office or the local exchange that can serve up to 10,000 subscribers, each of whom which will be identified with the 4-digit number, that is 000249. So the last 4 digits of the telephone number. So each and every subscriber will be given a number, unique identification number for the 10,000 subscribers as 0002 9999. So the local exchange number also has an exchange number specifically. So each and every, so there will be a central office and there will be an exchange number that will also be given the additional 3 digits. That is the 3 additional digits will be making up the telephone number. Obviously, there are as many as 1,000 exchanges possible, which means that the remaining 3 digits, that is 0002 999. Therefore, how many digits are here? Here 4 plus, what is that? 3 numbers, therefore 7. So the remaining 3 numbers will be for your country code or the main exchanges. whichever we are being called. So we all know this differentiation. The country code will be there, then the central office number with the 3 digits will be there, followed by the actual number of the person or the telephone instrument which is being registered here. So this is how they number the telephones. So these companies which are providing the services are called to be the local exchange carriers or the local exchange companies. They normally call it as local exchange companies. So what are the functionalities of local exchange companies? So they provide the local access transport area. They call this local access and transport areas. These local exchange companies provide telephone services designated by means of this geographical locations, and they are normally they call it as local access and transport areas. So for example, in case of United States, they have divided approximately of 200 local access transport areas. Similarly, in our location also, we have certain areas divided. So these local exchanges, they provide the local exchange companies, they provide service for the local access transport areas within that particular region, but do not provide long distance services for the local access transport area. So they provide, there is a limit for the coverage area of this local access transport areas, which is being provided by the local exchange companies. And this telecommunications hierarchy goes like this. That is, our telephone instrument, we get connected to the central office, and from the central office, it gets connected to the, what is that, local exchange companies, or we call it as local exchange carrier. And from there, so this is for the short distance communications. Okay, so all these they provide the local access. This is called as the local access transport areas. Suppose if you wanted to get connected to a person who is at a farther distance, what happens? We need to make use of this POP, that is point of presence. Okay, between this two point of presence, we'll be having the inter-exchange carrier. So they will be providing the long distance communications. Okay, so this is for a particular area. So let us say something within a city or within a town or within a particular locality. So all the subscribers will be getting connected to the central office. From there, they'll be getting connected to the local exchange companies. Suppose if you wanted to get connected to a longer distance, we have to make use of this point of presence, and from there it will be getting connected to the another point of presence via the inter-exchange carrier, or that is called to be the local access transport area. And from there again we'll be getting connected to the another local exchange company, and then to the central office, and then the destination to whom we are making a call. Okay, so this is how it is getting connected. So this is the service provided by the telephone exchange company, and the hierarchy goes like this. That is, from the lower level, that is the subscriber, the telephone instrument, they are getting registered to the particular central office. So this telephone instrument will have the last 4 digits identification, and it will be prefixed by the central office. Central office will have 3-digit identification number, and from there this POP will be having another 1-digit identification, and the remaining 2 digits will be your international identification POP services. Okay, so that is how the numbering is being done for the different telephone services provided by the central offices and the longer distance communications by means of local access transport area. Okay, so what do you mean by LATA? LATA means the local access and the transport area, and POP is point of presence. Okay, let's move on to the signaling part. So now we have established the physical connection between the telephone instruments via the central office. Now we have to send the signals. So what is the type of signaling that is used here? So the signaling refers to the process of setting up and disconnecting the calls on the network. So what is the processes adopted here? So we all know that this signal, the voice call, whatever we are making, that will be transmitted in the form of data packets or the digital information. So we need to follow standard protocols. Okay. So the signaling uses the digital packets to perform all the various operations necessary to establish a connection and to cut off. Okay. So typically, all these functions, including the billing, the call management, such as call forwarding, the number display, that is the caller identification, three-way calling, and whenever we wanted to make what is that conference calls, group calls and 800 to 900 calls and the routing calls from one point to another. Everything will be taken care of by a signaling system. So there will be a dedicated switching system which will be handling all these signaling processes. Okay, so that is called the system signaling, and they follow universally they follow a standard protocol for that, and they have named it as SS7. That is the signaling system used in the United States as well as the other parts of the world is called as signaling system number 7. So it is the standard or the version that has been adopted here. Even in our country also we follow the same signaling system method for establishing or for providing all these services. Okay, so it is called to be SS7. That is the signaling system number 7. So this SS7 protocol, it is being standardized by the ITUT, that is designated as Q.700. So what does this ITUT mean? So it is the universal standard that is called International Telecommunication Union that provides services for the telecommunication. Okay, that is called to be ITUT. So this terminology you should have it in mind. They are the people universally they are providing all these standards. They maintain all these protocols and standards. Okay, the International Telecommunication Union Telecommunication. So whatever devices, the switches, hubs, as an electronics engineer, we must be in a position to design all these switches, electronic equipments, this is signaling systems, everything we have to design. So we need to understand what is the signaling level, what is the frequency, and what is the data rate at which the particular electronic system has to be designed for providing this service. Everything we should have it in mind. Okay. So similarly, we have so many other standards for IEEE standards for wireless protocols also. That also you should have it in mind. That is for wireless communications. So when we are learning about wireless communications in the subsequent units, we'll come to know that. Okay. So whereas in case of telecommunications, it is about the signaling systems number 7, SS7. So that is universally followed. Okay. So this protocol has been standardized by the union, that is the International Telecommunication Union Telecommunication, which is designated as the 2.700. Okay. And the private telephone system. The telephone service provided by the companies or the larger organizations with many employees and many telephone companies were considerably different from the services that is provided at the local service, which are provided directly to the individuals. So depending upon the size of the organization, and there might be number of dozens and hundreds, even the thousands of telephones getting connected to that particular locality. So it is not as simple and not economical to provide each telephone in the organization to get connected to the local loop, because in our institution itself we have intercom connections, is it not? So many departments are there, and each and every department will be having at least 5 to 6 intercoms, there is dedicated lines. So each and every line cannot be directly connected to the central office. So we need to have a separate switch, and that is called the intercom or the extension connection. So normally when you call to any other toll-free number or any other government sector companies, when we make a call, what happened? They will be telling, if you know the extension number, please dial that. Okay. So they will be provided by means of this extension number. So if we wanted to directly connect this even these intercoms to the central office, it is very tedious job, because our institution itself has thousands of numbers. So whenever these lines are going, so this particular locality, we cannot provide that many services, dedicated lines. So we need to make use of this particular, what is that, intercom kind of extension connection. So making this connection through the local exchange is again a wasteful process. So this process has been solved by the private telephone systems within a company or an organization. So we'll be getting a dedicated private telephone systems that will be controlled by a certain switch. Okay, so we call that as a hub. So that will be providing, we get terminated to all the intercom numbers get terminated to that particular switch, and from there we'll get connected to the local central office. So these private telephone systems implement the telephone services among the telephones in the organization and provide one or more local loop connections to the central office. So the two basic private telephone systems are known as key systems and private branch exchanges. Okay, so they call it as key systems and private branch exchanges. So these are the two basic types of private telephone systems. Okay, so now let us see in detail what is meant by key systems and what is meant by private branch exchanges. So first let us see what is meant by key systems. So key systems are the small telephone systems designed to serve 2 to 5 users within an organization. Commercially available systems usually have the provision for 6, 10, 12, up to 50 telephones. The simple key telephone systems made up of individual telephone units, generally referred to as stations, all of which are connected to the central answering station. So this is how we have our extension lines. Okay, these are called as key systems. Now let us see what is a private branch exchange. So that is for a particular area. So this private branch exchange is normally called as PBX, as it is known as the private telephone system for larger organizations. So most of the PBXs are set up to handle 50 or more telephone interconnections. They can handle thousands of individual telephones within an organization. So normally they are also not only used for establishing connection within an organization as well as within particular locality also. So at roadside, sometimes you might be seeing that is a PBX racks they would have mentioned with a gray colored box where it will be having all the terminals getting connected to that. And of these three items, that is these systems are also referred as private automatic branch exchanges or the computer branch exchanges, which means that there will be automatic switches running across what is the PBX racks. And whenever we are making a call, automatically the switches will be taking route or taking path for the calls getting connected on its own. So it will be computer programmed. So there will be microprocessors and microcontrollers which will be having control over all these switches. And whenever a call is being initiated, they will take care of all these things. So of these three items, the expression PBX is most frequently used. Okay. That is about the private branch exchange. So today now we have learned about that is the extension central office, how the connections are being established, and then how the extension connections, that is more than 10 to 50 connections are being established with the help of the key systems as well as the private branch exchanges. Okay. Now let us see the diagram. So how this PBX is getting connected. There is a private branch exchange. So these are the individual telephone lines with the extension numbers here. And these are the line circuits and these are the control circuits, and there will be a console unit to which we will be terminating all the individual dedicated lines. And there will be a matrix. Matrix means the switches. Okay. So the switches that will be automatically controlled by this control circuits, which will be taking what is that whenever the particular line call is being initiated, it will check whether that particular line is free or not, and automatically it will be routed. And there will be trunk circuits and the telephone company or the local exchange to which we get connected. So this is about the private branch exchange. And here also in the telephone company or the local exchange, there will be switches that is to which it gets terminated. So to a particular locality, the individual telephone instruments will be connected to the PBX, and this PBX will be connected to the telephone company or the local exchange of that particular locality. For example, if you are having the extension lines here at our institution, so all these extension lines will be terminated at the 1 or 2 switches or the hubs that is present at our university campus, and from there it will be connected to the private branch exchange, which is maybe it may be closer to this what is that Sholingnallur place. Okay, and from there it will be connected to the local company or the local exchange. So that is how we have the what is the dedicated line here and the extension lines. It is how that this is how it is working. So that is about the private branch exchange. And also the numbers here we have. So we have so many extension numbers. 4 numbers are here at our institution. And the dedicated line, that is 2450 is the locality number. 2450 is for the Sholingnallur. Okay, that is at the Chennai. So it gets connected to the local exchange company, telephone company that is nearby available here, or to whom we have got registered to that. Okay, so this is how the services are being provided by the private branch exchange or the central office with the help of this private telephone system. Okay, I hope you have understood this concept. Okay, this is all about the telephone exchange and other private telephone systems. And next we will get started with another new topic, the telephone specimen. So we make use of these telephone lines not only for sending the voice data as voice information, as well as for sending the data information. So we use the same dedicated telephone line for sending the data information, something in the form of printout format. Okay, so before the evolution of this electronic email and internet facility, we made use of these telephone lines for sending fax. Okay, so you, even at our campus, the people who are at the hostel, there is right before 2000, what is that, 11 or 12, before that. Okay, 2012 or 15, even you can tell before 2015. We used to have fax machines at our hostel. Okay, for example, I'm telling what is the use of that. Okay, nowadays only we have a mobile phone SMSs, free SMSs are here, and we make use of electronic, that is email, and apart from that, we use WhatsApp nowadays. Apps, so many mobile apps are there. So before the what is the evolution of all these advanced equipments, we made use of this facsimile, that is called the fax machines, which will be used for transferring the printed information or the data information through the telephone line. How it is being used, let us see. So that is in our Satyabama hostel also, that the students used to get what is that, messages from the parents, or if they wanted to go to their go for outing, or if they want to go to their hometown, they have to get permission from the parents, is it not? Right now we are sent in the form of messages and other means or emails, but previously the parents used to handwritten what is that, a letter seeking permission for allowing my daughter or son to come home. That will be sent as a fax information. I'm just giving an example. Okay, we also used. So this fax machine, let us see how it is working and how the telephone line is used for sending the data information. So well, we all know that this telephone line is dedicated for transmitting audio information or the voice information. So how it is possible to transmit the data or the printout format of any what is that data in the telephone line. Now let us see in detail. So it is known as telephone facsimile or the fax machine. So this fax machine is an electronic system used for transmitting any information in the form of a graphic format or via a wire or radio information. So this facsimile is used to send printed material by scanning it and converting it into an electronic signal that is being modulated by a carrier and that is transmitted over the telephone lines. So since modulation is involved, this fax transmission can also take place by radio. So with the facsimile, the documents such as letters, photographs, the line drawings or any printed information can be converted to an electronic signal and that is transmitted with the conventional communication techniques. Okay, so that is about the facsimile. So any printed document, letters, photographs or any line drawings that will be transmitted via this telephone line. So how it is happening here? How we are able to transmit this? So let us see the facsimile operation. So there will be scanning head, that is, we will see that block diagram. So there will be a what is that, an instrument for scanning the data. So whenever we wanted to scan the data on the printout paper, we need to provide the light source, something similar to your photocopier. Photocopier, you see, have you seen scanning machine? There will be a flash of light going here and there. Okay, so it will be what is it, illuminating the information whichever we wanted to capture, and that scanning head consists of a light source and a photo cell. It is something similar to what you are taking, a kind of photography. Okay, so how do we take photography? We illuminate the what is that image whichever is being captured, and then we have to what is that we have to capture the image of any photo cell. Okay, so this photo cell, what happens whenever this light information is fallen on that image, that will be captured on this photo cell. Photo cells are nothing but the charged coupled devices. So based on the light intensity and the shadow that is being created by the image, that is on the opposite side of the light source, it is being captured. So the same concept is used here, similar to a photography. So the light source focused on a tiny point with the lens system. So normally your photography will also have a what is that lens for focusing any particular image. So normally when we do for photography, we have a lens and we focus it. So nowadays we have autofocus cameras are available, but when you go for any kind of professional photography or any camera, we'll be having focusing lens, is it not? The same way there will be a lens system and there will be a light source for illuminating. So what is the light source in the camera? We'll be having flashlights, is it not? If the surrounding or the place in the where the picture is, that is object is present, and if it is not properly illuminated, we'll be making use of additional light source, that is the flashlight. The same way, the light source will be there and a photo cell will be there and there will be lens system. So that is used to scan the document line by line from the beginning, from the top left top corner of the document to the right bottom corner of the document. So line by line scanning will be done. So something similar to a television scanning lens, the horizontal scanning lens will be there. Okay. So this lens also used to focus and the reflected light from the document or the photo cell. So whatever, so there will be a lens to focus the whichever position we wanted to in what is that capture, that is being illuminated and focused, and the reflected light from the object to the photo cell will be captured. The photo cell will be capturing the information, light information that is reflected from the document actually here. Okay, because here the object here in this specimen is what is fax machine is our printout. So the not printout, the document whichever we are scanning. Okay, so as the light scan the letters and the numbers in a type in the printout document in a grayscale photograph, and the photo cell produced a varying electronic signal. So this optical information will be converted to one electronic information by means of this photocell or photo. Normally we call that as photodiode. So what is the function of this photocell or photodiode? Can anyone tell? So please unmute, sir. What is the functionality of photocell or photodiode? You might have learned in your electronic devices subject. Am I right? Can anyone tell?
It converts electrical signal into light signal.
Electrical signal into light signal. So that is about the diodes, light emitting diodes. Whatever you're telling is correct, but that is about light emitting diodes. So that will be converting the electrical or voltage information to the light information. What about photocell or photodiode? Anybody?
It will convert light into electric signals.
Yes, very good. Sai Varun has answered. So whatever Vaishali has told was right, but this photodiode or photocell, it does the opposite process, the reverse process, the controversy process. Okay, photocell or the photodiode, it will be converting the optical information, that is the light information, into the voltage information. Okay, so whatever we are capturing here is the light information. So that should be converted to the voltage information. So that is about the photodiode on the photocell. Whereas in case of light emitting diode, what does it do? It converts the reverse process. Okay, it converts the voltage information to light information. So that is the difference. That is what your light emitting diodes where we use in case of your televisions and other things. Voltage information will be coming, and at the monitor, it will be converted into the form of different lights. That is called LEDs, light emitting diodes. Okay, that is the difference between LEDs and the photodiode. Okay, light emitting diode and the photodiodes. Okay, so here in this fax machine, you can mute, sir. So the fax machine makes use of this photodiodes or the photocell for converting the optical information into the electrical information. So there will be, as I told, this has to be transmitted via the telephone line. So it can be the person to whom we are sending the fax information could be at a very far distance. This is not has to travel such a long distance. So we need to perform modulation. Okay, so this baseband signal is then used to amplitude or frequency modulate depending upon the electronic instrument, whatever we are using, or to which it has been designed, whether it could be amplitude modulation or frequency modulation, and a carrier in the audio frequency range. So it has to travel along with the, what is that? A voice information that is being transmitted in case of the telephone line. Okay, so the same dedicated line it will be used, which is used for transmitting the voice signal. So it will be modulated depending upon the type of modulation and the instrument that is being designed for. Either it could be amplitude or frequency modulation, and that will be transmitted. So this is how the permitted signal to be transmitted over the telephone lines. The same telephone line, we are transmitting the signal. So what is the process here? The document whichever we wanted to send in the fax machine, it has to be scanned with the help of the heads, and there will be light source for illuminating that what is that document, and there will be photo cells. What happens, the reflected light from the document will be capturing the what is that a photo cell will be captured with the help of the photo cell. So this photo cell will be converting the optical information to the voltage information. So this voltage information or the electro signal that will be transmitted via the telephone lines to the destination where it is reached. And after at the receiver side, what we have to do? We have to do the reverse process. So whatever information that is being received, that will be converted to what is that? Again, reproduced with the help of printers. Okay. With the help of printers, the voltage signal that is being received, that will be reproduced in the printout format. So there will be dedicated printers and plotters will be there. Depending upon the information that is received, it will be reproducing the data. So this is how the fax machine is working. So now let us see in detail the simple block diagram of the fax machine. So this is going to be the fax machine. So this is the document that is being scanned. It could be any document. It could be printout or it could be written form document, or it could be a picture information or any graphical information. That is the hard copy. Let us say hard copy of any document. That will be scanned here with the help of the fax machine, and that will be transmitted via the modem. So now let us, we have introduced one new terminology, modem. So what is a modem? Can anyone tell? What is a modem?
Modulator, demodulator.
Yes, very good. Sai Varun has told modulator and demodulator. So it does the process of modulation and the demodulation. Okay. Before the transmission, it does the process of modulation, and at the receiver side, it does the process of demodulation. So the modulation process happens here, and via the telephone lines, it will be transmitted, and at the receiver side, we are reproducing the document that is being received with the help of the plotter. It is being printed here. Okay, so this is the simple block diagram of a facsimile system. Now let us see a simple example of the scanning letter F. So you see, so this is the letter. So this differentiation of the scanning the document with what this shade of that color has been that is why the letter F has been chosen. So now let us see. So this is the first scanning line A. So what happens here? So this point up to here, it will be up to here it will be white. That is up to here. There is no, what is that? It is not printed. Okay, so that is white. So this is the voltage level at the photocell. Okay, after the photocell, whatever the voltage level is there, this is the time information. So up to this level, it is going to be white, and after this, it is going to be black. Okay, and then dark information. That is the information received after the photocell. What is that? Light has been, the object has been illuminated, and whatever information has been received or captured by the photocell will be this information. Okay, so it is going to be black, and after this again white. So that is for the line scanning line A. And let us consider the line B. So what is that? It is going to be small black information only here. So up to this point, it will be white, and this portion, it will be black and again white. Then the next scanning line will be this up to here, it will be white, something similar to this. And next up to this point, it will be black, low level, and it is going to be high. That is the white information. So it is going to be in the form of zeros and ones. SEC, who is that, sir? It's always coming in video. Some other people are also listening at home, children. Okay, so this is about the scanning system available here in the facsimile. So this facsimile utilizes the scanning technique, something similar to those available in the television. So through the scanning, the document is broken up into the certain horizontal scanning lines that are transmitted and reproduced serially. So this is how the facsimile system is working. Okay, so this is one such example. So whenever this particular question is asked for big question, you have to explain the block diagram of that particular system, SML system, and we have to explain with an example how the scanning lines are working. So this is the block diagram of a modern fax machine. What are the internal features of a modern fax machine? So you see here, so this is the telephone line. Okay, and here this modern fax machine will have a built-in telephone and a printer also. Okay, the scanning, everything will be inbuilt here, and there will be keypads and switchers, something similar to the DTM of dialer. Okay, so which we have seen in the previous, that is the first one. You see, there will be the telephone line, dedicated telephone line. This is the DTM of dialing pad, and this is the LCD screen, and this is the scanning portion where we are inserting the document. And there will be a printer also. So whenever we are receiving some kind of information, that will be printed here. Everything will be inbuilt here within the system itself, single system itself. Okay, so there will be LCD display, the keypad and switchers, and the DTM of dialer pulse controls, and there will be image sensor and nothing but the scanner. Scanners will be there, where you will be having that pointer and lens information, and the light source for illuminating the document, as well as for the photo cell. Everything will be available here. And there will be a document printer or the copier. Document printer or the copier. After receiving, we have to print out, take a printout of that. So that will be available here. So the sensor will be there for sensing the, if at all we wanted to send some fax information, we need to scan it. So there will be a scanner available here, and there will be a document printer available here, and there will be a microcontroller computer control system. So it will be having a simple microcontroller that will be having control over all the systems. So this modern fax machine, it is going to be an electronic fax machine. And there will be the transmit image processing, and so as we are sending in the form of images, what happens, we need to perform some kind of image processing methods. There might be some what is that, kind of filters for removing some kind of noise, or the document whatever we are scanning, it could be subjected to any kind of noises, white noises, or some dust particles, something might be there other than the information whatever we wanted to send. Okay, so that will be removed with the help of this image processing blocks, which will be having the filters. And whenever you wanted to transmit, that is whenever you wanted to send, what happened, we will be typing the number to whom we wanted to send, then you will be scanning the document, and that will be transmitting. So the switch will be connected to the transmitting image processing unit and through the telephone line. So there will be modem here. Okay, modem, and that is connected to the particular telephone line that will be transmitting here. So that is in case of the transmission process. So now let us say in the receiving. So whenever a fax is being received, we will be getting an intimation. That is like a caller ringing sound. Similarly, we will be getting some kind of beeping sound indicating that some information, a fax has been received to this particular number. So this everything with respect to the telephone number that is assigned. So if at all we wanted to transmit or send some fax to some particular telephone instrument, we have to dial that number. Okay, to that particular number only we can transmit. So whenever we are receiving any fax information, we will be indicated by some kind of beep sound or some kind of ringing sound indicating that fax is being received. So at that time, there will be some provision for accepting the information that is received as a fax. Then that automatically this switch will be transmit and receive switch will be operated here, and that will be connected to the receiving image processing. Then the image processing, some kind of noise information will be what is that, removed with the help of the filters available here, and from here automatically the document will be reproduced with the help of the printer. Okay, and we can take the document and read it. So this is how the fax machine was working. It is something similar to the scanning process that is happening in case of the photocopier. Photocopier is nothing but normally we call it as Xerox machines. Okay, but technically we are not supposed to call it Xerox machines. Xerox is the company who has invented or designed that particular photocopier machine. But colloquially we call it as take Xerox, take Xerox. But as electronics engineers have it in mind, we should not call that as Xerox. Xerox is the company who has invented, or we can tell who has designed that photocopier machine first. Okay, they have the copyright for that, and they are the trademark, there is the patent for that. So we have to call that as photocopying normally. So we should not call it as Xerox. So it has something operation similar to that. Okay. The only thing is we make use of the telephone lines for transmitting and receiving purposes. And there will be embedded microcomputer which handles all the control over and all the operations, including paper handling. So there will be a kind of a printer kind of thing only. So there will be dedicated papers inserted. Whenever the fax is being received, automatically it will be printed and we can take it and read it. So this is how it is happening, the functionality of the fax machines. Okay. Okay, so that is about the telephone facsimile. So now let us see in detail how this scanner is being functioned. So it is not of that much importance, but you should know how. So there will be a what is that paper drive roller will be there, and there will be motor to run that. The document being scanned that will be fed at this point, line by line. Okay, and this switch, this roller will rotate based on the control signal that is provided by the motor, and there will be what is that we have to illuminate this with the help of the light source, and there will be LEDs which will be illuminating the document. Okay, LED for illuminating means light source, providing light source. LED voltage will be here, we will be providing the light source, and it will be scanned at this point and it will be captured via the CCD array. And there will be parallel to serial converter, and there will be signal amplifier. We need to amplify the signal after getting the voltage information, and that is transmitted. So this is going to be transmitted in the form of data packets. So it is going to be, if advanced fax machines, it is going to be digital in nature, and there will be analog to digital converter will be there, and there will be synchronized. So there is a digital image and data signal. Serial data will be there, and there will be clock signals that will be having control over all the systems functioning here. Okay, so this is how the scanning process is done with the help of LEDs and the CCDs. So these LEDs are used, as I told you, light emitting diodes are providing the light source. They convert the voltage information to the light information, whereas the CCDs, the charged coupled devices, or the photocells, they will be converting the light information to the voltage information. So with the help of this, the scanning mechanism is happening in case of the telephone facsimile. So that is about the telephone facsimile. So we have come to the end of the telephone facsimile. So whatever we have learned here. 1 second. Today's class we have learned about the telephone hierarchy, the telephone exchange, and other things. And 1 second. Details about the fax machine operation. So what are the topics covered so far in first unit? It is going to be, so we have seen the introduction, the standard telephone and the local loop, the electronics telephone, cordless telephone also we have seen, and based on this Bosch functions we have seen the different functionalities provided by the SLIC, that is the subscriber line interface circuit, and the telephone facsimile we have seen, and the fax machine operation. So these are the topics left. This the paging system is very simple, and the ISDN is also very simple. And one more important topic is digital cellular telephone system or the cellular telephone system. Okay, so that is about the first unit. So these are the topics that is being covered so far, and the documents are being uploaded in the LMS. You can make use of it. So what about the answers which we had discussed in the previous class, that is the polling information? What were the answers? What were the questions asked? Do you remember?
Fill forms.
Yes, ma'am. Today also let me post launch the poll. You try to, so some of that LATA, LATA and all we didn't discuss the time when I was posting that. What is LATA? LATA? What is LATA?
Local access transport area.
Very good, very good. Yeah, Kalyan has answered. Local access transport area. What is PSTN? PSTN.
Public switch telephone network.
Public switch telephone network. Very good. PBX?
Private branch exchange.
Private. Other names of PBX?
Private automatic branch exchange.
Very good, very good. Let me post. What is DTMF? DTMF.
Tone multi.
Multiple frequency.
Dual tone, multi-frequencies. Many of you have answered it incorrectly during the poll. Okay, what is POTS?
Madam?
POTS. POT,
Plain old telephone.
Yes, very good. Plain old telephone service. And later, then what is the one more question I asked? The typical voltage across a telephone line when on hook is there.
48 volts.
48 volts? Yes.
20 Hz AC.
Yes, 48 volts, 20 hertz AC. So that is coming from the telephone exchange. Yes, yes, very good, ma. I think you're very clear with the concept. Mohan Sai has answered, Sharon has answered, Rutvika, Nanda, you have any answer question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, ma. Thank you so much for answering. I'm very happy that I appreciate all the people who have answered. I appreciate your involvement and the commitment and the dedication in listening to the class. Very good. Keep it up. Okay, in tomorrow's class, we will learn about what is the remaining topics. That is ISDN, cellular communication, and the paging systems. So paging systems you all are familiar with. Am I right? Does anyone have any idea of what paging system is? In short form, can you just tell what a paging system is in terms of the means of communication? Have you heard of pagers? So it's a kind of one-way communication device.
Texting.
Yes, Sai Varun, you were about to tell something. Tell me. Sai Varun.
Texting they'll use. In olden days they were using.
Yes. Can you be clear? Sai Varun?
In olden days they were using that for texting in one-way communication.
Yes, one-way communication. It's going to be half simplex communication.
Half
Yeah.
duplex.
No, half duplex, not simplex only. Only we'll be receiving messages. We cannot retransmit. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, ma. Thank you. Very good, ma. Sai Varun. Tarun, you have anything to tell? Rutvika, any other information about paging? Okay, ma. We have come to the end of today's class. Thank you for answering the questions. You had been a wonderful students. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow.